right in we heart. We know that we have the fire when it comes down to the wire. Our passion, it makes us strong. 'Cause this is our fighting song. Whoa, bring it home. Because we know we are ready to go for gold.
My name is Jehue Gordon, Trinidad and Tobago's #1 400-meter hurdler.
Day in the life of. You know what day in the life of is? Basically, after you done train, you go in home and rest yourself with nothing else.
Today, Lozana stole me off of the track, as you can see by my condition, but say what?
Coming through is Jehue Gordon. Jehue Gordon perhaps moving fastest of all.
This year was the first year that I've actually been vomiting at practice. I really wanted it.
Fighting back, who's going to get it? Can barely believe what he's done here. So close. Jehue Gordon, what a finish. He's now gone one better. For Trinidad and Tobago, he's still just 21. Fourth in this final.
Four years ago. Now you're the world champion. How does it feel?
And I wanted to just give it my heart out here and represent my country, Trinidad and Tobago, 150%. This is to you guys. What's up?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Tell me a little bit more about your sport. What's special? What's the challenge in hurdles?
I got into the event because of the lack of competition initially. While I started at the 400 meters and the 800 meters. So the amount of people that were competing in the 400 and 800 meter category, then the probability of me making a national team was a lot harder compared to the 400 meter hurdles. So let's just say, for instance, if they had like 40 people competing for the 4 and the 8, they had about just 6 or 7 people. So the chances of me qualifying for a national team were a lot greater compared to the 400 meter flat.
All right, there's a story about you hurdling desk in primary school and you just put it in.
Yeah,
not
primary school, at Belmont Boys Secondary. That's where I was introduced to hurdles. Mr. Albert King, he was my physical education teacher at Belmont Boys Secondary, and he had us jumping over some stools there, and he just realized that I had it natural, and I asked him if he was a madman because, you know, I was tall, I was lanky, I used to run the 800 and 1500 meters, and I thought it was all about speed, but to my knowledge now it's more about technique.
What do you think set you apart from all the other kids you went up against as a teenager?
I just say my ability to just make the best decisions in life. You know, I've had a great group of people around me who've been there, they've done it, and they are willing to support me and lend their expertise. You know, you would always find wolf in sheep clothing, but I was able to realize all the shit.
All right, tell me about the balance between your training and your performing and your life off the field and the way it impacts on each other, let's say.
To be honest, I actually enjoyed going to school while I was training full time. You know, now there are a lot more distractions. You know, I had school as an excuse before not to do all the stuff that I'm doing now. But now, seeing that I have all this free time, it's like the amount of things that I try to do at the same time. But you know, it definitely was a priority aspect. You know, coming home and being disciplined, knowing that I had training early in the morning, or just going to class and paying attention in class, knowing that I had to pass my exams. It was difficult, but I fought through the road and I was able to graduate with first class honors. Go with him, Jerry, go with him. Just is most important, but the mental aspect of the sport is definitely even greater. Now at my stage, I think it's 90% mental and 10% physical, at least to me. You know, where everybody here, we're talented, but now we so believe that they could actually do it on a day.
Talk to me about Felix Sanchez. I know.
Man, that guy was crazy. He was really crazy. You know, he always lent out, you know, to me, especially when I just came on the professional scene in 2010. He told me to be patient, that it will happen, but everything, you know, the 400-meter hurdle event is a maturity event, and you saw for yourself in 2012. He was, I think, 34 years old when he won his gold medal. That's 8 years apart. For me, I'm just 24 right now. So, you know, a lot of people, they have their own expectation, but with the 400-meter hurdles, today somebody could pop up and then they could just drop down, but it just requires a lot of patience and maturity with the 400-meter hurdles.
Jehue Gordon.
What does it take out of you when you run a race like that? You mentioned the emotional balance and so on, and how did it affect you for the final?
Yeah, it is emotionally tiring. The amount of energy that is expended through the rungs, you definitely need to be able to raise yourself for the heats, for the semi-finals, and bring the most in the finals. So it's basically the way how you channel the energy is the way how you distribute it on the track. So if for the heats you use up all the energy, then by the time the semi-finals come, you'll be gone. You know, so as you grow, you learn, and you learn how to channel the energy a lot better. when I say physical strength, your body could be conditioned, but it is a certain energy, a fire that I can't really describe, you understand, because it's more like a hunger, how much you really want it. But if you're so hungry that you fill up your stomach in the heat, then you will be satisfied for the finals, if you understand. I kind of join it in a layman terms kind of for you. But it's really, you know, the amount of the universal energy that surrounds you, you understand, to guide you throughout the run.
Sanchez is going to win this surely with Tinsley in silver medal position, and Coulson gets the bronze.
Feel after that final?
After the final, I felt as if, you know, I wanted to box down somebody, but that's just sport, you know, you win some and you lose some. The best of the best does lose. What's Chelsea, you understand? Chelsea does lose. So if Chelsea could lose, then it's like, hey, I don't have a problem with it. But, you know, my father always told me growing up, if Brian Lara could out for a duck, then who is me? You know, and I just always take it one step at a time. I know in sports you have your ups and downs, but it's for me to accept it and just move on from that.
What was the next year like before the Moscow Games? Were you angry most of the time?
I was angry, I was disappointed, because I get to realize out here, especially in the world of sport itself, that the winner is the only person that is celebrated. You understand? Everybody else, nobody remembers the silver medalist or the bronze medalist. And I just find that it is sad because, you know, we give up so much on a daily basis as athletes to be away from our friends, our families, and to not be respected. You know, respect is not giving us money, but respect is to understand, you know, how much we sacrifice and prioritize on a daily basis to make our country proud. You know, so if we don't even make it out the first round or the second round or even in the Olympic final and we come 6, 7 or 8, we're among the best in the world. They only take a selective group of people to make it to the Olympic Games. So think about how many millions or even billions of people on this earth, and yet still Trinidadians are in the final or in a semi-final or just at the Olympic Games.
Talk about the sacrifice a little bit that goes into being a high-performance athlete.
Yeah, it's just...
What do you give up?
I just give up being away from the people who care about me the most. You know, we are being criticized for something that others think that they know more than us, while we are the ones out here putting in all the hard work. So sometimes they see us place last, they see us place first, and they always have something to say. But the ones so away from us who seeing the injuries, who seeing the aches, who seeing us waking up early on a morning, who seeing us not eating all the fast food every day, watch James. If you watch James Bell, you could see for yourself what's going on. But that's just, you know, life, and I've accepted that that's how life is, and I just go about my life as if I live my life for me and nobody else.
So when the gun went in Moscow, what was going through your head? You think
Wine and jam. Wine and jam. When the gun went in Moscow, it was definitely an eye-opener for me because I did not expect to win. Michael Tinsley was the favorite going in. He had 47 point something going into the finals. He was unbeaten whole year, but with the 400 hurdles, it's so tough on your body, and it requires a lot just to go through and run fast every single round. Then I was able to just be relaxed every round and just bring my best in the finals. So in Moscow, it was fire. Fire.
Yeah. Gordon and Tinsley fighting back. Who's going to get it? It may have been Gordon. It was so close.
All right. I mean, was the decision to stay in Trinidad as opposed to going in the States, you know? What does that say for your own development, and essentially what made you make your mind up?
Nah, it's just the people who's been there for me at the start, as I told you, you know. Nothing better than a good home-cooked meal on a Sunday afternoon. So I'm just grateful and trying to be a pivotal part to the people who've been there for me from the start and believing in me. And I always try to show them the love. So that's why I'm home. If I go outside, I'm basically by myself and no one to look after me. And we've been seeing the benefits. You know, as I said, in sports, you go through ups and downs, but I'm just always thankful for each and every blessing that I've received to date. I'm not sure what has been going on with the hurdles. It has definitely been a struggle, but I've realized a recent trend that anybody who runs really fast on a consistent basis and also who does the hurdling event, it takes a bit out of them after the next couple of years. So I've seen Karen Clement struggle after 2009. I've seen Bushon Jackson struggle after winning in 2009 his last World Championship medal. I've seen Felix struggle since 2012. The world champion who won last year in the 400 meters hurdles has been struggling this year. So the hurdling is a really difficult event to train for, and you know, some of us, we go about it and we don't really realize how damaging it is to our body compared to the other events. I'm still aiming to achieve an Olympic gold medal. That's my main aim in track and field. We all aim to achieve the highest in the sport, and which would be the Olympic gold medal. But as of now, some aches and pains, I've already done 2 surgeries in 2020 and last year in 2015. I've had a couple injuries, not many injuries, but just some recurring factors because of my body composition and the way how I'm built. And it's just like, I'm always growing, which is ridiculous because every time I see somebody new, they're like, oh, you're growing still? And I'm like, I will do again. You know, it's a competitive advantage for me to do less steps in the 400 meters, just by the time my body it's just always growing into new things each year.
Is it harder to come back after each operation?
It has been difficult. It has been a difficult road. I would say that I've gotten over my surgery, but the area just doesn't feel the same since. You know, it's my lower abdominals, that's where I get all the power from, especially my lower core area. And it definitely hasn't clicked for me as yet, but I'm keeping the faith, and I know I'll get there. We have a lot of things that we still need to change, and just a culture that we need to foster, a system that we need to put in place that is not there as yet for us as Trinidadians or just even Caribbeans on a whole. But that's not for me to focus on. You know, I need to focus on what I have and the availability of which I have it, and just make sure and get the best out of it.
There it is. No doubt at all in my mind that Jehue Gordon snatched.
What could you expect from you in Rio?
What you could expect from me at Rio is to make sure and give it my best effort. You know, I'm not going down there to back down. I'm not going there to just have an experience. I've been there, I've done it, and I definitely would give a good showing.
And what could we, the public, do for you?
What could you, the public, do for me?
What kind of energy you want?
Yeah, I think it might be a bit too late for that now, but you know, our Olympics, it takes 4 years, every 4 years to go out there, to wake up one morning to make those sacrifices. And for people to try and come on board 2 months before the Olympics, you tell them best to go back in the bed and sleep. But you know, it's always great to see the country rally around you. It helps you to kind of throw some weight on your shoulder, and a good way to know that, hey, 1.3 million people behind your back, even though some of those countries have all kind of 28 million and 40 million people behind them. But it's good when the country is behind you. We definitely feel it, and it's an extra push.
Jehue Gordon, well, I bet he can't believe it.
Get ready now, come on, let's go for Trinidad and Tobago. We have it down to one art, red, black and white in we hearts. We know that we have the fire when it comes on to the wire. Our passion, it makes us strong, 'cause this is our fighting song. Whoa, bring it home, because we know we are ready to go for gold.
Blink B-Mobile joins with TNT to wish our athletes best of luck in Brazil. Share your support with #BringItHomeTT.
Whoa.